Order. The chair has received notices of application for emergency debate from at least 6 honourable members, all on the same subject. The first came from the honourable member for Scarborough Agincourt. I therefore call upon him to make a submission in respect of emergency debates.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the House is aware, Tamil Canadians are on Parliament Hill today calling on the Government of Canada to act in order to help innocent civilians in the recent conflict in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka today, we have people who are residing in refugee camps with little or no medical assistance, little or no clean drinking water, and little or no food. We hear reports of mass graves and over 20,000 people missing. We hear reports of women being raped in these camps, children being separated from their parents, and men being segregated from their wives. While the government has allocated pittance for the humanitarian assistance, it has done nothing to further pursue the intervention of the international community to ensure an end to this human suffering. The Government of Canada has done nothing to ensure that the United Nations has access to the refugee camps by humanitarian organizations and independent international journalists. This government has also not worked with the international community to ensure that a permanent solution is found and instituted in order to prevent further bloodshed in Sri Lanka. Canada is home to one of the largest Sri Lankan diasporas, and they're looking to their government and members of parliament to help provide a solution to their violence-plagued homeland. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking you to permit an emergency debate on this very important issue. If we allow this destruction to continue, it has the possibility of becoming one of the greatest tragedies of our century. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, the chair has a similar request from the honourable member for Don Valley West, the honourable member for Beaches East York, the honourable member for Etobicoke North, the honourable member for Scarborough Centre, and the honourable member for York South Weston. If any of the other honourable members wish to make submissions on this point, dealing with other aspects than for the argument than were advanced by the honourable member for Scarborough Agincourt, I'd be pleased to hear them now. The honourable member for Scarborough Centre.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Speaker, and I'll be very, very brief. I think what I want to add, Mr. Speaker, to this request is that I want to ask through this debate, if it is so accorded to us, to press through the United Nations to make sure that an individual is appointed, to get him in there with all him or her with the authority to look at the situation and bring back some findings. Also, to press upon the UN to take the leadership role that it was designed to do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, the chair has considered the submissions of the honourable member for Scarborough Agincourt and the honourable member for Scarborough Centre and the letters received from the other honourable members that I listed. I note that I have ordered a debate on this subject previously. I believe it was in February, and I granted the debate on the basis of the humanitarian crisis that was existing at that time, and the House did have a debate on the subject. The conflict has ended, but there is continuing difficulty in the country, I agree, but whether it is something that constitutes an emergency for the purposes of debate in this chamber, I have doubts on, and I'm sure that having heard the submissions of the honourable members, I agree that further submissions by the Government of Canada may be helpful in this matter, and the government is free to make those submissions, and indeed questions are asked during question period, statements made in the House dealing with this subject, which I'm sure are influencing the opinions of members of the government who make the decisions in respect of these matters. I'm not convinced at the moment that a debate in the House on an emergency basis is something that is required, and accordingly I'm going to deny the request at this time, bearing in mind the possibility of the matter being brought back to the chamber at another time, as it has been a couple of times since the debate in February. So accordingly, I do not feel the submissions meet the exigencies of the standing order at this moment. Before I call orders of the day, I wish to inform the House that pursuant to order made on Tuesday,